Hello, everybody. I hope I'm connected. This is the first time I've done a live Facebook posting, so hopefully I've got the right thing going on. My name is Kim Huffman, and I live in Bowie, Maryland. Been a demonstrator for 22 years, which is a long time. And I met Lisa in 2002. And that's one of the best stories you'll ever hear about how I met Lisa. I had a friend with me, and we went to our national convention in Utah. And Karen was my friend's name. And I decided we'd see if we could find a seat up close to the front. We usually sat in the back, and it was an easy place to find a seat, and they had television screens that you could see very well. But we said, let's just give it a try. So we went down the aisle, and we found two seats about maybe 10 or 15 rows back, which was great. So Karen says, let's sit, this is a good place. And the people on that row moved down, I guess, so that we could fit in the row. And so, as we always did, you talk to the people around you and say, oh, where are you from? And so when we told them we were from Maryland, the girl sitting next to Karen said, oh, my friend down there just moved to Maryland. And I said, oh, okay. So we kind of leaned over and to meet the friend, and she said, yeah, she's living in Bowie, Maryland. Well, we live in Bowie, Maryland. And she said, we just moved last week. My husband's in the service, and we moved into a neighborhood called Saddlebrook. Well, Karen lived in Saddlebrook, and as it turned out, Lisa had moved into a house about four doors down from Karen's, around the corner and down the street. So it was just an amazing, in this crowd of 7,000 people, we happened to sit in that row, and we happened to talk about it, and it was just amazing. So we got back home and became fast friends because we were, very interested in stamping, and we would do Stamp-A-Stacks together. And she's a lot younger than I am, so we sort of adopted her as as part of our family because they were there with no family. So spent lots of time with her family. At that point, she only had Cole, and he was a baby. So anyway, that's the story of the beginnings of my friendship with Lisa, and it's she's one of my favorite people.
Left instead of the top.
What's wrong? My tech guy thinks my camera's not right, so he's moving that. But I can probably keep talking while he's working, and you'll just be flying around the air. What I'm going to do today is a waterfall card using the Flowering Rain Boot stamp set. The waterfall cards have been around forever, and I've seen a few recently sort of making a comeback, and it's a really fun movable card. People always like things that move, so I decided I'd do this. The Flowering Rain Boots are in the spring catalog on page 30, and there's also dies that go with them. So you get, how many does it say? 11, and they're clear stamps in the set. And is this the right side up, George?
Elaine is.
Okay. So we have a couple different kinds of flowers, a watering can, some cute rain boots, and some nice sayings that go with it. Live life in full bloom. Our friendship is naturally beautiful. Rain or shine, I'm here for you. And every storm that comes also ends. I think that's my favorite one. So you get these stamps, and along with it, you can order the dies.
I can't see it.
It's
Keep going.
okay. I'm sorry. Apparently, you're not able to see what I'm doing. So
I see it, but it's turned 90 degrees.
okay. It doesn't matter on these. Okay. Sorry. We're having technical issues. I guess you're seeing me sideways. So these are the dies. Sayings that go with it. Live life. So here's what they look like. There's 2 that don't have stamps that match. This one, we actually saved the little squares that are inside there that you could use as and also in a decoration. And then the rest of them are the stamps, and you can cut them out, which makes it nice. You don't have to do fussy cutting. Today, I don't believe I'm doing any die cut things, but I wanted you to see that there was the option to do that. So, okay. I think that's all I need to say about that. It's a nice springtime stamp set. All right, let me get these out of the way. I'm also going to use today some of the paper that's a free celebration thing choice. Daffodil Afternoon. I'm actually doing the ones that have daisies in it, but the set is called Daffodil Afternoon. It's a really pretty one that I know people are anxious to get. So if you're interested, things will run out, as we keep saying, but they will. So since it's a popular one, you want to get your orders in soon. Okay, so that's in celebration. Get these out of the way.
So to Elaine, your right hand is at the top of the screen.
Okay. How about you?
So if you turn the card 90 degrees to your right hand.
Does that look right? Okay, I'm going to show you how this works. This is the waterfall card. This is what we're going to make today. So you pull on the ribbon, and it cascades down. And it looks complicated, but once you get the gist of it, it really isn't. So my theory here is you start with an empty pot and a package of seeds, and you water it, and the flowers bloom. So live life in full bloom. Our motto for the day. This just goes back and forth. You can play with it. Okay, that's out of the way. Okay, what do we need to make this card? We need 4 1 3/4 inch squares of basic white. And we need 4 2-inch squares. These are the colors I'm working with throughout the card, so I did 1 of each. They could be all the same. They could, you know, whatever. It depends on what stamps you're using, obviously. But I chose to do 4 different colors of 2-inch squares. You need a strip that's 1 by 4 1/4. I will have that all printed on the tutorial that will come not too long after I'm finished, I hope. You need another strip that is 2 inches wide by 9.5 inches long. A piece of DSP, and that is Daffodil Afternoon, maybe. What is this called? Yes, Daffodil Afternoon. What about that? And that is 5¼ by 4. And I'll show you the rest of the pack of that. So I guess it wants to be this way, right?
Just do it toward you.
Okay. Really pretty flowers in the field. Some daffodils. I'll show you the back sides while we're doing them too. This little crosshatch pattern. Tiny little polka dots. And big daffodils, or what's it, jonquils? I don't know what's what. I think it depends on the coloring. So this is a cute stripe. Nothing to do with daffodils or daisies or anything, but it would be pretty for a little girl's birthday party. Ooh, and this is a great piece if you cut it in half. And you could have, and then in 4-inch panels, you could have 6 cards here without, just mount this on your card, put a verse on it, and you're ready to go. They've done all the work for you. And then here's the one we're using today. Okay, so we have that. And then we have the base card, which is 4¼ by 11, and then scored at 5½. That means we'll have a top fold. And you want to score everything nicely. Burnish it so you get a nice sharp edge. Okay, so we've got our pieces. So let's do some stamping. We're going to start with our 4 white pictures. Okay. I'm going to get my card out so I'm sure I'm doing the right thing. Okay. And my little mask. Okay. I'm going to do a seed packet up in the top right-hand corner. I've had a really hard time getting these straight, but I'll give it a try. I don't know what my problem is, but not so bad. Good job, Kim. Okay, I'm guessing most of you know about masking, but if you don't, this is when you want to have 2 stamps there and you don't want one stamp to ruin the image of the other one. So you do whichever stamp you want to have in the front first, and then you cover it up. And then you do the thing you want behind it, which in this case is the pot. Oh, not too bad. Maybe up a little bit high, but it'll do. All right, the next one is the watering can. Now, not much of this one's going to be able to show because it's big, but I made it a point to just get the spout and enough of the watering can you can tell what it is. And we want the water to be pouring out, so I'm turning it. These stamps are made so they aren't filled in completely. I'm not quite that bad a stamper. Okay. And we're going to add a little bit of water coming out. I'm just doing some sort of variegated lines. All right, and next is the flowers are blooming. So this is another one that needs to be masked. So we're going to start with the flowers up at the top, as close to the top as you can go. Okay, and we're going to mask again. I cut just the bottom part out of this because that's all that we need to worry about. I left the rest of the thing on so it's easy to handle. Try to mask it up, match it up as best you can. And if anything, cheat it a little bit so that the edges show, because there's a little tiny gap there that will show. And if you move it up just a bit, that doesn't happen. Okay, so we're going to put the flower pot on here. There, so we've got it all. So the flowers are brimming over the edge of the pot. One little tip that I have for you with our new pads, when I open it up, I don't push it all the way up. I leave it maybe that much. It makes it so much easier to close at the end that you're not messing with the ink when it's all the way closed. So I leave them out just a little bit. All right, and then I believe we have one. Oh, no, we're going to add a little bit of color on this one. It needs a little bit of leaves. And those, I'm just going to do kind of little V's. This is just freehand. The centers of the I'm using the same color blends as the things we've been using, the colors. Daffodil Delight and mint macaron and cinnamon cider. And Grey Granite, I'm not doing any coloring with that, but that's the other color we've been using. Oops, missed one. That just makes it look a little more festive with a little bit of extra color. I used to decorate cakes and I'd put, flowers around the edge. And it was amazing when you went back and added the leaves around the flowers, how much better they looked than just the little pink rose sitting there with a green leaf next to it. Much better. Okay, and then we have the last one, which are the words. Live life in full bloom. Okay, now we're going to mount each of these onto our squares. And for the sake of time, Kim has already done that. You don't have to watch me glue. So these are done. All right, so we're going to put those aside and start working on our mechanism for the card. Here we have the folded card. Let's start by putting the DSP on. Where is my... Oh, another tip for you. If possible, I prefer to put green glue on the base piece instead of on the back of the other piece, because then you don't have to touch the paper with the glue on it. You can just move this over and the glue is already, you just don't have to touch the glue. And that glue is very sticky, as we all know. Get a nice smooth mount. A little bit low. I think it's okay though. Okay, next thing. Let's do our 2-inch strip. I have to make myself a little bit of room here. And get my scoring board out. Is there a stylus in there? Ah, excellent.
There's always a stylus in there.
Thank you.
Organizes stuff.
Okay, we have our 2 by 9.5 inch strip, and we are going to score it. Again, these measurements will be in the tutorial, but it's every 3/4 of an inch. So we want 2. Sorry for my colorful arm. I had to give blood the other day, and they sort of missed. And so it's looking pretty good now, but it was very colorful. My veins are too tiny. So 2, 2 3/4, 3.5. And 4 1/4. Okay, this is done. Excuse me, had to have a drink. Getting that time of day, you know. Okay, we're gonna score, put the long strip down, the long piece in front of you, and then the rest of these are gonna come forward. So get them nice and sharp. Okay. Here it is. Good. So then at the other end, the long end, you're going to punch any tag topper punch would be fine. And I can't tell you the name of this one, but whatever you have to make a little topper, preferably with a hole in it so we have a place to put our ribbon to pull. Be sure it's all the way down there. And yeah, okay, we're good. Oh, are we good? Yes. Okay, we got some. What should be next? Go back to here, and our 1 inch by 4 1/4 inch. We're going to mount that here using tear and tape. It's important to use a really strong glue on these ends because it gets a lot of force on it, so you want to be sure it's not going anywhere. I should be putting it down and then tearing it. Oh well, you all know better. And be sure you like really squish it down there to get it off. It'll come off a lot easier that way. I have a little bit too much here, but rather than wasting the time to cut it, just fold it back on itself and you're all set. Okay, I'm going to use the grid paper to try to line this up straight and come up about 4 squares. I said about 4 squares to George. He said about. None of this about stuff for him. He wants the exact. So anyway, I have okay. All right, so now I'm gonna punch a hole. Whoops. Okay. I usually like to mark it first. So we want it halfway here. And using the grid marks to kind of mark the middle here. Oops, pretty close. This is giving it extra strength to hold it in place. Plus it's decorative. I always forget to be up over the table. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I'm going to use some of these brads. we've got Brad's back again. We've had them for a long time, and then they disappeared, and now they're back again. Okay, I'm going to use black ones. There's squares and circles in black and white. So the circles are really tiny. What am I doing on time?
Got a half hour.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Want to get it as flat as possible. I use the bone folder to kind of flatten it out. And I'm trying to mount them on the diamond. So it's a diamond as opposed to a square. Okay, if you don't mind the way that looks, that's fine. You could cut a 1-inch circle and cover those up, or you could cut another piece of Daffodil Delight paper a smidge smaller than 5.5 by 4 1/4, like 1/8 of an inch, say, and put that on top to hide them if you don't like them showing. Okay, so now we've got the front here. Now, let's go back to our puller. I don't know. And we're going to put the long tab behind your cross piece and fold it down, the top one, so there should be 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4. And starting from the bottom section, there we go. You're going to put a piece of tear and tape right at the top, only at the top. Then carefully line it up right on the score line. All right, this is the next one. All right, it's going to line up right at the top of the next, where the next score line is. Kind of watch along the way to be sure you're staying straight with the one below it. Okay, this one's next. I didn't push this one down very well. There we go. All right, it gets right here at the next fold, next score line. Yeah, come on, Kim. or something there. And then the last one. Now it's fighting me. Shoot. Got it. All right, one last one right up at the top. Do this just to be sure we got a good adhesion. Okay, this goes back here. One more piece of tear and tape. That goes on the back side of underneath the Live Life in Full Bloom. This sure is a rowdy crowd. Okay, I'll fold this down and come up here, and we're gonna have this green one align right at the edge of the cross piece, the bottom edge. I'm trying to be sure it's centered all directions before it sticks. Come on. Okay, stick her down. Need to add a pull on it and then we're done, I think. I'm gonna fold it in half. This is old ribbon, but I'm sure you have some sort of daffodil delight ribbon you could use. I always put these on backwards the first time, so we'll see. There we go. Could I have done it right the first time? Oh my goodness. Oh, like I said, I always do it wrong the first time. I'm sorry, guys. My fingers are not behaving today.
Let's pull out the done one.
Okay, good idea. George says, pull out the done one.
This is like the 30 minutes in the oven.
Yes, there you go. By the magic of television. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so just pull on this and you got a waterfall. Okay, this one's done. I have one other sample to show you. I'm running long, I know. I'm sorry. Okay, this one I did with the kite set. Kite Delight. It's also in the Spring Mini. And is that straight up, George, or sideways? I made the string sort of look like a kite string that you're going to pull.
I'd say just go with it pointing toward you. And they can turn their head.
I'm sorry, I've been sideways all day. There you go. So on this one, I used the Marvelous paper, which is really pretty. And the back side is almost prettier than the front side.
You can see back there, Heather.
Oh, shoot. You're right. Isn't that pretty? Those swirls. And the front is just sort of a marbly looking one. The back, that'll look really pretty with the new water set that Lisa mentioned earlier. Okay. And then I used the cloud punch out to put some clouds in the air here. And I cut one in half, put one on each side. So it wasn't quite as wasteful, and you could see more of the humps and looks more like clouds. Use the white squares on this one. And my ribbon, I tried to make look like a kite string to pull. So, okay. What have I forgotten? Probably lots of things, but I've kept you long enough, so.
You gotta show off your directions, my directions.
The directions will be coming. George did most of that. I dictated and he typed. So you'll be getting, I did a picture of the kite card and a picture of the flowers growing card. And those will be coming to you online shortly. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. There's still a few more to go. Bye-bye.
How do we turn it off?
Oh, that was important.
Hang on, I just...
Wait, don't... Let me see it, because she told me.
What?
It'll say finish.
Yeah, what about it?
Do finish.
Okay.
And then there's something else you have to say.